episode 2. I got with me a special guest, Marcus Frisby, kind of a real estate expert and at his age and stuff, so we're excited to have him on. So Marcus, tell us about yourself. What's going on?
20 years old, real estate tycoon. No, I'm just kidding. No, 20 years old, I do consider myself a real estate investor. I try to specialize in the more investment side of real estate. I am obsessed with fix and flipping, and I'm not a buy and hold investor, so I try to get in and get out and make my cash that way. So, yeah, that's kind of how I model my business, if you will.
Okay. How long do those deals usually take? Like a month or two, or?
It just depends on the deal, and it depends on the scope of work and how much work needs to be done to the property. But typically, we're buying 1,500 square foot properties with minor cosmetic stuff that needs to be done to it in a nice area. That way, we can get out and we can rehab it within a month and then sell it, and it will sell fast in that area. And so we try to buy it low and sell it on the lower side. That way it'll sell faster, so we can get out faster.
So you take a lot smaller margins compared to like some sellers that want to really get a big margin.
I believe in 10 pennies versus 1 dime.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And so if I can up the volume, and I'm doing a lot of volume to make the same price or the same profit as one may make on honing in on that one key perfect property, spending all the time on the property.
Right.
That I don't like that. So I want to get in and volumize my business and do it that way.
Okay. What made you want to get into real estate?
Oh man, I don't know. Coming up as a kid, I would always do just all the random stuff, man. I was always a kid that was doing the random stuff. Like, you hear the stories about kids that would sell candy out of their lockers and stuff.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying I was doing that, but it's just that kind of school never jived with me, really. Yeah, and so I was always trying to think of different ways that I could make money creatively that's outside the norm, I guess, if you will. And so I came across wholesaling, which, if you don't know what wholesaling is, really quick, it's just simply sending out a marketing campaign to motivated sellers, and you get their property under contract for cheap, and you flip the contract to an end investor, and you mark up the contract price a little bit. And so that business model, it really piqued my interest at 17 maybe. Okay. And so I gave that a go, and I closed my first deal at 18, and then a few after that. And so, yeah.
18 years old. That's pretty crazy, though. So a lot of people think, like, at that age, though, you have to go to college. You have to, get your degree to even make a sale on a property,
right,
get all your licenses and all that. But the thing is, like, that just proves it right there. You can go at any age and start making money. Money, too.
Well,
you were probably still in high school still, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You just got to go. And you gotta convince yourself that,
right,
that it can be done. And that's what I did, just out of it was almost like I was naive to failing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that I was already broke at the time. So I was like, I'm gonna pinch my pennies and do this. And the worst that could happen is I waste $200 and end up back where I am now. So I was almost naive to failing, which almost helped me fail forward. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's how you have to be really in anything too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you really want to be successful, a lot of those big names, like Steve Jobs and all those guys, like, they really just freaking went for it.
Yeah,
they became addicted, so to speak.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is from Grant Cardone. It's from one of his books, 10X. He said, I used to be a drug addict by the age of 27, 28, but, I finally figured out another addiction to replace it. He became addicted to, real estate, doing business and sales. He's one of the biggest salesmen in the world, and it's paid off for him. He's worth over $100 million today, has his own show on YouTube, over 250,000 followers on YouTube and everything. And, I think you just really have to look at that aspect of becoming truly addicted to your passion.
Yeah, and to key in on something small you said about he's a true salesman. If anything that has to do with entrepreneurship has to do with sales, you almost have to become an expert in sales psychology, and you have to want to learn how to be the best salesman, because being an entrepreneur is just selling yourself. Just because you don't have to sell a product to be an entrepreneur, but when you're an entrepreneur, your whole business lives off of you selling yourself to people,
Right.
or you selling your business, or you selling this or selling that. So yeah, he's making it big, and I guarantee you that being a top level salesman comes so naturally to him now because he's been doing it for so long.
For sure. And I feel like more than anything, it comes with confidence too. Like, you know, like you're selling yourself and everything. You truly have to be most confident in yourself. And I was listening to Gary Vee's Ask Gary Vee book the other day, and one of the things he said is, you know, just like you have to be your number one fan.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, who the hell is?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sure, yeah, family, parents, and everything. But the thing is, you have to be your number one fan. Really show that confidence to other people that at a young age, you can freaking do it. And the thing is, if you are addicted and willing to do it, you can. And that's the thing about proving it to older people and, you know, the real estate world. You know, real estate world is really based on a lot of older investors and people, I'm sure, right? I'm sure a lot of investors you work with are above the age of 40, 50, and 60, right?
Yeah, right there.
So you really have to look at that aspect. Kind of on to the next point, though. I heard you mention school a little bit.
Yeah.
What's your kind of ideology and thoughts on higher education?
Oh man, they're ever evolving. My thoughts. They could be different a year from now, but I wanted to be top of my class, business student, and that just wasn't me. I personally do not think I'm that smart to be doing that. Right. And so my opinion on higher education is if you have the true smarts and the true dedication to be a good student and school appeals to you long term, you know, you want to look back and tell your children 10 years from now, I graduated top of my class business school, or I got my MBA, then do it. You know, nothing should hold you back from getting a higher education. But to the people that are in school that are hating their lives and that are struggling, genuinely struggling, you know, maybe it's time to reconsider a different, more creative way to become successful. And so that's what I did. Is I was going to school 2 semesters ago at Mizzou, and then the semester after that, I was enrolled in half my classes, and then this semester, I'm not enrolled at all. And so, for me, school just wasn't doing it for me.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary, and to me personally, it was wasting my time. I was sitting in classes talking about business, talking about being an entrepreneur, leveraging your money, leveraging credit, all that stuff, and at the same time, I was learning the same things in real life,
right?
You know, from mentorships and people like that, etc. So for me personally, I felt like I could get a higher education, you know, outside of the normal higher. Ooh, my voice cracked. The normal higher education.
Yeah, we're still growing over
here. Yeah. So yeah, that's my mindset on that.
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like more than anything too, like mentors. I feel like I've learned more from mentors over the last 2 years than I have actually in school. You know, like there were certain semesters. I relayed this back to episode 0 or 1. I can't remember, but I made the example of I was in a class called Intimate Relationships. I'd pay $1,000 for the class, another $200 for the books. To learn what?
Yeah.
Like, you know, how to have a relationship? Like, I'm sorry, but I'm a business major, and why am I learning about that crap? Like,
seriously.
I don't need to learn about that and waste $1,000. I can waste that, or put that $1,000 towards, you know, business, marketing, all that type of stuff that you really can grow on and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. But I think a lot of people that are in those positions, like you were, they're honestly just afraid to tell their parents, because in their generation, they're like, if they failed and never went to college, they automatically think college is the answer.
Yeah, and it's a lot of that, but it's also a lot of outside. The outside world will view you as if you drop out of college and then publicly say you're not in college anymore. Especially in Columbia, where we live in a small town.
Right.
We grew up with these kids, and we all went to the same high schools, and we're all going basically to the same college or around the same area. So we all know each other. Social media, we're always keeping up with each other. We live in that world. So when you then drop out of college, it's all over the place.
It's almost going against society.
Yeah.
People like look at this like, whoa, you're on the wrong move.
Exactly. And now your friends know about it, your friends' friends know about it, your parents' friends know about it, and so it's hard nowadays. You know, I can't go anywhere with my parents and not have one of their friends say, "So how's college going?" That's the first question they ask, because they already think I'm in school.
That's what the norm is to society. Yeah, no doubt. And I think more than anything, it's just parents. I don't even know. Parents are afraid to honestly look their kid in the eye and say, "Why did you drop out?" Because then they automatically think, like, in today's day and age, with all the drugs and all the problems with alcohol and all that type of stuff, I automatically think, well, crap, my kid's life is going down the drain.
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is, like, people hate on the millennial age, but there are just, like, a few like yourself that want to go get it and don't have to go to college and are smart enough to, get mentors in their life, learning that way every single day of their life and be able to really grow upon that and stuff.
Yeah. Just to end on that note, though,
yeah.
I do want to get my MBA eventually.
Okay.
Not for societal reasons, not for my parents or anybody, just for me. So eventually I will do that. I will go back, but right now, at this current moment, school's not doing it for me.
Of course.
And when I do go back, it will probably be where I can drop all the cash on all the semesters that I need, and I'm financially ready. Yeah, no loans, none of that. There's not a shadow of doubt that my bank account can cover all the school and all of its necessities. So
sure.
Eventually, whatever that is.
Yeah, no doubt. That's good though. Last question.
Yeah.
Routines. You have a routine?
Or
do you kind of keep your schedule open, kind of figure out day by day?
Man, my downfall is that I'm very not keen to routines.
Okay.
And that's a negative. I'm so day by day, hour by hour. I normally wake up at about 8, okay, and then I'll get dressed. I hope to get to a property by 9. When you're dealing with subs, like electricians, plumbers, painters, hardwood, somebody's always at a property. And so naturally I have to be up and I have to be there, so that then becomes a routine to some extent. Okay. But I'm not one of those guys that wake up at 5 and then meditate and then drink their black coffee with one Splenda. I don't have a routine in that sense.
Okay. Yeah, I actually saw a YouTube video the other day of Warren Buffett. One thing he did say is, like, I hate people that keep their schedules from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every single day. He's like, I keep my schedule wide open. Yeah. He's like, because people will be contacting me.
Yeah, no doubt.
And if that's happening, stuff's moving on either way. Instead of stressing myself out, like, have to be here at this time, have to be here at this time. Just leave it wide open, especially when it's different from his position, billionaire, one of the most richest men in the world. But I feel like at our age, like, if you randomly want to go have some fun, take a hike or something with your girlfriend or friend or whatever, just call your girlfriend up randomly. Just be like, hey, just got done with my work. Let's go do something,
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. Yeah, that's what this form of business is doing for me right now, and that I'm not in school. I have a lot of time to do spontaneous things like that, and yeah, man. To your point about just keeping your schedule open, when you're a true entrepreneur, your schedule, I promise you, will always be open, because your mind is always grinding out, who can I meet with, who can I meet with to scale my business or add, a positive to my business. And so, yeah, your days are always spent thinking. At least for me, my brain never stops thinking. It just never does. And it can get tiring, but that's
what part of it.
Yeah, that's naturally who we are, and all you people, you guys are entrepreneurs, and so I'm sure you have the same thing. Your brain's always grinding. For sure.
All right, last 30 seconds.
Yeah.
What do you want to tell the viewers, my subscribers? What do you want to tell these people about entrepreneurship and yourself?
I would say the last tip of advice I can leave you guys with is, and I was saying this the other day, so it's in my head now, is whoever you look up to, whether it be a mentor or somebody that you've never met before, but their business is like your business times 10 or times 100. Those are the people you should be looking up to and getting mentorship from. If their dreams don't make your realities feel minuscule, then they're not big enough. Do not look up to them. For example, there's a guy named Justin Williams. He flips 100 houses a year. Me, right now, I'm working on 3. That's my reality. And his reality is 100. My dream is 10. So his reality is making my dream feel minuscule. What is 10 to 100? So I'll do 3. I'll clap my hands, get the check. I'm happy, but I'm on to the next one. Because you can never look back and rest on what you've done. So, of course, yeah.
What about social media? You want anybody to follow you on social media?
Man,
anything? Instagram, Facebook?
I would, but I don't even remember my Instagram stuff. That's bad. Yeah, you can probably link it down.
I can always put in the link below. Yeah. We can figure it out after this interview and stuff.
Yeah.
But for sure. Well, awesome. Hey, end of episode 2. First ever interview on The Inner Class. We're doing videos every single day. I want to keep hitting this entrepreneur stuff. Like, people at our age need to finally understand that. So, Marcus, I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
First ever.
Yeah.
For sure. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the next episode. Peace out, guys.